Right then, let's talk about convoluted. Yeah, right. Right then, hello there, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome. If you've been following me for a while, and possibly even if you haven't, you'll know a few things about me. My name is Paul, I'm also called Nik Nak. I do a series of daily quizzes called the Daily Teaser. You might want to check those out. I talk about movies occasionally, and I recently saw Candyman and Dune, which are both very good films indeed. I might just check out No Time to Die at some point as well. I also talk about TV shows I've been watching. I've just finished the first and sadly only series of Lovecraft Country, which is something I think you should check out. I've also been watching series 13 of Doctor Who called Doctor Who Flux. A couple of things I want you to know first off. I do a rating system that goes from 0 stars, avoid at all cost, going through 1, 2, 3 and 4 stars, which means go see this now. Just remember that for the end of the video. Like I say, I've been watching Doctor Who Flux, and tonight is let me double check here, is the 14th of November. I've just finished watching episode 3, Once Upon a Time, and I really wanted to tell you about it. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Chapter 3, Episode 3 if you will, Once Upon a Time, opens with the by now traditional summary of earlier episodes. It then shifts, pre-titles, to introduce us to Belle, played by Thadia Graham, a young woman who is lost in time and lost in space after the Flux hit, and dictating a message to an unseen loved one whilst trying to avoid patrolling Daleks. She's unworried by those Daleks, which is odd, because she knows how to fight them. She knows, for her, they're not a problem. What is worrying her is that post-Flux, time is all over the place. Post-Flux, there are strange swarms of red and blue particles that seem to devour those they're stalking. She doesn't want to let that stop her finding her unnamed lover, though. Post-credits, we find ourselves staring directly at the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, who's breaking the fourth wall to tell us she's used to assessing her surroundings rapidly and in depth, and with an eye to who's in danger, who's dangerous, and, importantly, how she can help her friends avoid getting killed. The Doctor then tells us that the only way she has of keeping her friends, Yaz, Dan and Vinda, Mandip Gill, John Bishop and Jacob Anderson, safe, is to throw them from the frying pan of the Temple of Atropos into the fire of something that she calls a time storm. A time storm that immediately throws the team elsewhere while showing the Doctor the grim form of a weeping angel. A vision that soon vanishes before whisking the Doctor off into the depths of her own time stream, into a patch of her history that shows her first visit to the temple. A visit and a place she's got no other memories of. A visit and a place where her current companions join her, seemingly with no memory of her. And a visit where her reflection in various mirrors is wearing a very different face.
Now,
what did I think of Once Upon a Time? First things first, I'm going to be throwing around the word convoluted. There's that word. I felt that Once Upon a Time, if I hadn't actually been sitting down and getting ready to watch Once Upon a Time, it's a story that told me what happened to the Doctor and to Yaz, Dan and Vinda was just a little bit convoluted. The Flux has messed up space. Time has been messed up, has been wrecked by Swarm and Azir's actions in War of the Centaurans. It's breaking apart into what's called a time storm. So in order to protect her companions, the Doctor has to hide Yaz, Jan and Vinda in earlier parts of their history, whilst appearing to the Muri, the angelic-looking creatures to come back to the Temple of Atropos. They're the only beings seemingly keeping time under control and calm. Convoluted is possibly the word, I think. The Doctor is having to explain all of this to us and to all three characters, or the fellow characters, while showing us Yaz's, whilst the show shows us Yaz dealing with the Weeping Angels, spotting Weeping Angels, Dan's relationship with Diane going slightly off course as she's kidnapped, and it shows us Vinder's career and his exile. It forces us, it's done in quite a clever way, I think. It's done in a way that forces us to pay attention, a way that some of us will find convoluted and some of us will like, and some of us won't. Personally, I felt seeing Vinder's backstory filled in the midst of all this. He's part of the military of a culture-like society, if you're familiar with Ian M. Banks' work. He's a member of a culture-like society of their military, and he's exiled as punishment for disobeying the orders of a seriously senior political figure. Seeing that pulled in, or filled in, I should say, was an utter pleasure. It really was. It's something to see. It gives us a bit of story to the character, in the same way that earlier episodes have concentrated on Yaz and Dan. Seeing that filled in was an utter pleasure, and it's a word I think I can also apply, much like convoluted, to the episode itself. Possibly thinking about it here, possibly the word pleasure may be the wrong word. The word I think could be equally be great, could equally be nice, could equally be wonderful, could equally be, actually I'll be honest, bloody superb. Yes, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Paul, you've thrown the word convoluted at Once Upon a Time. That doesn't sound superb to me. I'm going to quietly disagree there. Yes, we can call Once Upon a Time convoluted. But I've sat in my front room tonight paying close attention to an episode of Doctor Who that forced me to concentrate on it, to watch it, quite actively watch it, in a way unlike the first two episodes, unlike the Halloween Apocalypse or War of the Sontarans. It actually actively forced me to watch. It's a story. It forced me to concentrate on a story that was sketching in backstory for its main characters, telling more about us, adding extra mysteries. Who is the lady that the 13th Doctor was talking to at the end there? She seems to know a lot about what's going on. It's shown us, flat out shown us, that the Time Lords aren't the only ones who can regenerate. It's given us very good CGI Daleks, and they're floating a few inches off the floor if you're paying attention. There's a nice bit of shadowing under there. It's given us that, plus it's giving us the most menacing Weeping Angel involved cliffhanger we've seen since the days of the 11th Doctor, and that's a few years ago now. Convoluted is one way of describing Once Upon a Time. Fantastic is the other one. Frankly, I'm going to be watching Village of the Angels, the next episode, next Sunday. I've given Once Upon a Time 4 stars, and I'm hoping you'll be joining me next week for next week's review after seeing next week's episode. I'll see you on the 21st. Have a good week.